I'm of the belief this is a mistake by the New York Giants. It was clear that the quarterback and head coach had something going together, at least this production, performance, and hope. The fourth quarter leads are obviously something that you're sitting there and, killing yourself over. This team lost its best player. And then they lost probably their second or third best, certainly offensive weapon in Scadaboo. The fact that they had built these leads should warrant something. And the reality is this defense that's got a gajillion dollars or early draft picks had 10-point fourth quarter leads 4 different times this year, and they couldn't find ways to secure the lead either. And so as much as we want to sit there and say, Daboll didn't get it done, a lot of the high-priced defensive talent didn't get it done as well. I think that Brian Daboll and Jackson Dart should have stayed together for at least another year.
To your point about the defense, I do think that reflects on the GM. On the back end, you see some draft picks that were mistakes, some free agent signings, and the offensive line has been an issue with this team now for several years, right? That's not on Daboll. That's on Joe Schoen. As far as Daboll goes, I hear you on one hand. I do feel like they had a good thing going. Sorry, I feel ridiculous, by the way, trying to figure something serious while wearing Mickey Mouse clothes. So I'm just going to put them down for a second. But I also really have not loved the way he's exposed the quarterback to risk. I mean, since Jackson Dart became a starter, he leads all quarterbacks in carries. He's second only behind Justin Herbert in the amount of times he's been contacted. Some of that is Jackson Dart's decision-making, right?
Sure.
To break the pocket and scramble. But as the head coach, when you have a quarterback with those instincts as an athlete, you have to coach it.
But we're not
him.
We're not firing because of that. We're not really kind of getting rid of Brian Daboll because of that.
It felt like because of that, the incentives of Daboll in terms of keeping his job and he had to win were almost misaligned with what was best for the quarterback. I do believe that's true. That's not necessarily on him, but it's how it played out.
I think y'all alluded to it. The central focus of this should be Joe Schoen, right? The investments that's been made on this football team obviously have not panned out offensively outside of Malik. You think about all of the draft picks that they have, to your point on defense, where you do go into fourth quarter leads, and you're supposed to take onus of that and give yourself opportunities to win those games. I watched Jackson Dart in Denver go take the lead.
I think for New York, it's funny because we were just talking in the break about how good New England has been and how everything they did this offseason seems to have worked out. And when I look at them, I just feel there was such an emphasis on complementary football. I mean, we're talking about, everyone talks about Drake May in the offense, but the defense has made significant improvements as well. And when I look at this Giants team, the defense has kind of been the bigger problem this season, and some of that has to do with the personnel. But I say that to bring out this. If they were to go out and hire an offensive mind, which I don't think would be necessarily wrong, they need to bring in an experienced defensive coach with him. The way we've seen, like, obviously, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota being a recent example. Or if they were good to go with a more experienced veteran coach, similar to, like, if there was a Vrabel type available, then it's like, okay, well, we can fix the offensive side of the ball with the right offensive hire. But this can't just be about the offense. This can't just be about whoever the hottest play caller is at the moment. They need to take a holistic approach to fixing this football team because you can't send Jackson Dart out there and then still be giving up 30 points a game.
Hey, y'all, where Brian Flores from?
He's from Jersey.
100% entertaining.
New York.
Interesting.
Like there needs to be a demeanor change on this football team. Defensively, you got a lot of guys up front that can really get after it. I think he would be.
The Tua stuff doesn't scare you?
Not at all. Not at all. I think Brian Flores, I'm going to make this statement on NFL Live. I think Brian Flores thought Tua was soft. I don't think their personalities aligned enough as a quarterback. I don't think he'd think that about Jackson Dart.
Can I add one thing also? I've heard Brian Flores talk about how he handled that and the way he speaks about how he learned from that as a coach has really impressed me.
He seems like a
personally.
changed
So
man.
But there's also a demeanor about him that I think would fit with the New York Giants.
I kind of like that.
Well, okay, we also have to remember, though, the sort of debacle between Brian Flores and the New York Giants, Bill Belichick, text messages, hiring cycle of Brian Daboll. So that's something we also have to work through. So whether this
it was a good idea.
So whether this makes sense or not, try to make it make sense. They need to find someone that won't dim the light of Jackson Dart, but will hold the rest of the team, including him, accountable. Right, Jackson Dart has a certain flavor, a certain personality that is really good for his style of play. It adds a confidence not only to the way he plays the game, but the way people move around him. But you have to make him be smarter. You have to make him understand that every time he has the football in his hands, whether it's taking a hit or a decision, the entire organization is in his hands. But the other people on the other side, the defense, right? Also the special teams, the coaches on the staff, they have to be held accountable to a level of excellence that is the standard of what we came to know of the New York Giants under Parcells, under Tom Coughlin. And that's a difficult place to go. That's a difficult thing to find. And I want this guy to go to LSU. But I'd call Lane Kiffin. And I'd ask Lane Kiffin, do you want to come here? And not I've talked to him. Lane Kiffin could live in New York. Lane Kiffin could deal with New York. Lane Kiffin would understand I have to go get an assistant head coach and a defensive mind that can understand how to make a locker room galvanize itself around excellence, around accountability, and around doing the right thing. He would be a perfect fit.
We always get
Great
He knows Jackson Dart
great
very
coach,
well.
but then I feel like the hire is only because of the quarterback.
Because the quarterback.
And I am past that in the NFL.
After watching also Chip Kelly in Vegas, Ryan Grubb in Seattle, I'm apprehensive of college coaches and bad offensive lines. I just am now.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's interesting. I mean, listen, there's going to be a lot of people that are interested in
forgot
that
about
job
the
because it
Flores
is a
football.
But I like
really
that Flores
good job.
suggestion.
Me too.
Somewhere.
Maybe there's a way to move
Maybe
past
not
it. I
New
mean, the reality is it's still the same GM as Joe
Yeah.
Shane for now is remaining there. Jonathan Taylor now has 4 games this season with 3 rushing touchdowns, tied for the second most in a season in NFL history, trailing only LaDainian Tomlinson's 5 in his MVP-winning 2006 campaign. Get this man the MVP. Taylor currently the 3rd favorite to win MVP this season at 6-1. Taylor stole the headlines, but it wasn't just him on Sunday. RC, what else besides that run game did you like?
I mean, it's absolutely beautiful to see what Jonathan Taylor is doing for the Indianapolis Colts. But to me, it was watching Daniel Jones rebound from adversity, the adversity that he saw the week before in Pittsburgh, and some of the things we saw early in the game against the Atlanta Falcons, turning the football over, bad decisions, bad throws. But that last drive to tie this football game, the huge run on 3rd down, and then the absolute ice water in his veins to get the football to Tyler Warren on 4th down, showed me exactly what Daniel Jones is made of. After the score of the Atlanta Falcons, Shane Steichen walked over to him and told him, we just need 3. And he did everything he needed to do to get that. And to me, that's a different Daniel Jones than we knew in New York. And that's the guy that can lead the Indianapolis Colts to the AFC Championship. You know, we saw what Daniel Jones was able to do, Mina, but they had a new guy on the defensive side of the ball in Sauce Gardner, and it was a big matchup against Drake London. What did you like from Sauce this weekend?
I liked a lot. I thought he played really well. Gave up early playing off coverage, one big play early on, but from then on I thought he was nails. And we also got a glimpse, I think, of how his addition changes this defense with Lou Anarumo and perhaps why they traded for him. A couple things. It felt like they were more comfortable blitzing, particularly on Gardner's side. And, you know, they didn't have DeVorest Buckner in this game, so they almost had to by necessity, I think, a bit. And then playing way more man coverage. They played cover 1 58% of the time in this game. Prior to this week, they had not played over 38% of the time in a single game. It was interesting, too, Ryan, when they played man coverage, the Falcons were stacking their receivers on Gardner's side a lot, kind of trying to make him sort through. And I thought, for having just joined the team, the communication when they played man coverage was excellent.
I thought it was excellent between he and Kenny Moore as well. A lot of times you saw those in the stack, and you saw them two communicating with one another. What I also loved was his physicality. Sometimes in New York, he wasn't a guy that would step up and make plays on the run, but we saw that in this game. And Tyler Algier is not somebody you just want to run up on. And so I think as Sauce gets more comfortable and Lou Anarumo learns him more, we'll see a more diverse defense. But think about this game.
And
Cam Bynum and Nick Cross had sacks on pressure.
I was going to say, and they get Ward back. Crazy.
Yeah, this team's going to be
really
great.
good.
Laura, listen, it'll be like the NFL Live crew when we all get together. Perfect chemistry.
Why was that Rams offense so good on Sunday?
I mean, to piggyback your point, though, I'm at a point, if you don't make them uncomfortable, you won't stop them. I'm at that point this year with this offense. Yesterday, it was their 13 personnel, their 1-back, 3 tight end stuff. It was so good. And the amount of different things that they did out of it, they would run out of it, they would play action out of it, they would screen out of it. This is their insert duo, meaning they would start outside, short motion down, and then lead block. This is the bootleg. They run so many keepers and bootlegs in their offense, and those tight ends secure it. This is weak side zone, but they start with that backside tight end. He then becomes the lead point on it, and then another play action. This is that no-looker. I'm in love with the way that they're using those guys, and I think the thing is, the foundation of this offense is efficiency in their run game and then their keeper game. And I think the way that they could build off it is such a big deal.
Yeah, the 13 personnel aspect is really fascinating because it started when Puka Nacua was out, kind of out of necessity, and it feels like it's given them such a changeup that allows them to dictate to defenses and get what they want. San Francisco, no Fred Warner, you want those linebackers on the field. When they played 13 personnel, San Francisco matched it with base personnel 90% of the time, and they just annihilated it.
Yeah.
They averaged nearly 10 yards per play passing out of 13 personnel. Multiple tight ends caught passes. And you spin ahead to a week like Seattle, it really feels like a little bit of the Spider-Man meme because that's what Seattle does. They put tight ends on the field and in the back.
Tight end game.
They get you in base personnel. The question's going to be like, okay, well, who's going to be able to do that more often in this one and take advantage of those mismatches? But I just love that it gives them a change of pace way to attack defenses differently from how they've been.
And I also think this is important. When I talk about these insert motions, what happens is the front and the second level gets set, and then you're just quickly inserting someone into the line of scrimmage from the outside. And so it's building an advantage with an angle blocking. It's building with an advantage at the point of attack. And it's very difficult. And then all of a sudden they leak someone out for a huge keeper, crosser, or in route. Yeah. And it's all tied together. It's all looking the same.
And it happens so fast. Like, how do they even have time to adjust?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just remarkable. Again, as Mina pointed out, Rams Seahawks. What a game.